Imagine this. It's a Friday. It's a sunny day. You've just gotten paid. Your pocket is singing. You're feeling on top of the world. And you are out shopping, window shopping. And then you see a nice, lovely dress you like. So you go in, you pay for it. You're excited. You walk past some other shops. You see a nice pair of shoes. They're looking so lovely. You needed to have them to that dress you just bought. So you buy them. On your way home, you're feeling, I'm not up to cooking today. So you grab some lovely dinner for yourself and for your family. Over the weekend, you bought a new Apple Watch or a new MacBook. Because you know what? You just got paid. You can afford this. Fast forward, 15 days into the month, you're broke. Your child comes home. You need something urgently for school, but you don't have any money for that right now. Or your fuel tank is running low and you're wondering if you can afford to fill it up. So today on Intentional Randomness, seeing as it is payday, or do we say pay week, I'm sharing some of my tips on avoiding being broke during the month. I hope you enjoy it. So, the scenario I described earlier is something that happens all the time with a lot of people. It has happened to me many times, and so for a couple of years ago, we decided in my family that we would have a spreadsheet. I wanted to know what was coming in, what was going out, and what we could actually afford. So this is something that has now worked for us very well. I have this Excel sheet and I'm the one who likes Excel sheet in my house. My husband is not really so fussed about the Excel sheet, but I think it works for me. So if you're just like me and you want to see your spendings and your income on a nice piece of paper, so you know exactly how much you can afford. Yeah. So anyways, I put in income, I put in bills. These are like compulsory things for your housing, for water, electricity, and all those things, because these are like, you have to pay them. There is no, in Europe, and I think for a lot of people in a lot of countries, you don't want your name in any black book, credits, black book. So in Sweden we say kronofogden, then, so you don't want that anyway. So I put in all these bills, and then I put in things that we have to do, like eat. So there's a slot for food, and then there is a slot for miscellaneous things that, in case, then you put in that, and then I can see how much we are able to save every month. But what I do, which a lot of experts also recommend that you do, is don't save after spending. Save first and then spend later. But because your bills are not going to wait till tomorrow or till another time when you have money, I always remove the bills and then I look at what is left and say, okay, I have this amount left, and that is both food. I want to send money to my parents, or I want to pay for a few things. I want to buy something nice into the house. I want to buy something nice for the children. Those then are weighed with my savings, and I know how much exactly we can save every month. So after doing it for a couple of months, you get an idea of how much you always have every month, that if you fall within that range, you know you will save. Then what I do is I make sure that we just transfer the money that we are saving first, and then we begin to spend. And what I've found that a lot of times the extra is not as much as my daydreaming in the beginning of the month is. So, you walk into the mall, you find something nice you like, or you're browsing online and you see something nice on an online shop and you want to buy, and you think you can afford it. Most times, if you do this spreadsheet before, you realize just how much you can afford or you can't afford. And especially when you have a project in the family you're doing, this is a very good thing, because then okay, for our project, we need, let's take a random number, you need $1,000 and you're in January, you know exactly that you need around $800 every month to save for you to, $10,000 project, and then you need to save at least $800 every month to be able to reach that. So then you can already be targeting your savings. You're gonna drop your spendings, because if your spreadsheet is showing you can't afford $800 every month and then afford to buy 2 new dresses and 2 new pairs of shoes and 5 things for the kids, you know immediately. So anyway, we send off the spending and the savings, and then we start spending what is left. And I can tell you, this has really helped us to do a lot of things, or to do some projects that we've had over the years. So don't make the mistake I made this last payday. Don't start spending until you've done your calculations and exactly what you have. And if you're not like me, who likes to sit with Excel and play around with it like I do, my husband doesn't really like that. You just have to have an idea of what your spendings are, at least, or use an app. There's so many apps for planning and for your economy, and I recommend you. But the most important thing, I think, is sitting down and really counting the cost before you start spending. A lot of times we overestimate our spending capacity. We think we can afford a lot of things because we work so hard and we earn quite reasonably, and you just know that you can buy that new thing. But if you really sit down with your spreadsheet, yes, my Excel, you will realize just how much you can afford. So now that you've heard me talk about my spreadsheet, I think it's important that I share some of the things that I've noticed over the many months of doing this. Apart from the big post in your Excel sheet or your whatever app you're using, you have your bills. These are invoices that come and they have a given date you have to pay them. You have your food posts because you have to eat. I find that it's very important for me to add every other thing as well. So there's a post for giving, and if you're a Christian, you probably give tithes, you give offerings, you give to those that are in need, or you bless your parents every month. So it's important that you put that in, and you have a post for if you know that you like to give a lot, and when you see somebody in need, you are moved to help them. It's important that you plan for that it doesn't just come randomly. So you have a post for, okay, every month I want to give this out to anyone that might need it, and then you try to stick to it. And this is probably a topic for another day. If you live in diaspora and you have family back home or people back home, friends that you sometimes want to help, or they want your help, it's important that you plan for it. So I know some people get a lot of calls, a lot of demands. Make sure that you plan, so that if A calls today and you've helped, and B calls and you've helped, by the time C calls, you probably have to say no, or you have to say maybe next month. And well, maybe this is a topic for another day, so I wouldn't go so much into that right now. But I have a post for giving. If you're somebody who likes to buy a lot of things for the house, this goes to women. We're like, that I saw a set of curtains, they're so beautiful. Oh, there's a new rug. I think the children's room need to be upgraded. Make sure you have a post on your Excel for home decor, and then you know exactly how much you can put on it every month. If you're an IKEA fanatic, like some of us, you like taking walks through IKEA and you find things you don't even know you need until you see them. You have to try and stick to your budget. I also find that there are month-specific expenses. There are months that you have a lot of birthdays, you have a lot of anniversaries, and so you have to put them in, plan for them. Let it not be that, your child is going to a birthday, that's when you remember, and then you go out and you buy a gift that cost an arm and a leg, and then you actually can't afford to do that if you had done your spreadsheet beforehand. So make sure you put that in. if you have subscriptions, you have Netflix, you have HBO, and you are on Amazon Prime, you probably need to put all of that in and maybe even reconsider having all of them. Another thing that I put on, clothing. If the kids need clothes during the month, or that they will need something, maybe you're in a warm month but you know that there is a cold month coming and they would need a change of different things, especially those who live in countries with different seasons. You find that you're always changing something. New shoes, rain shoes, winter shoes, and autumn jackets, and they're all different kinds of things. You need to plan ahead for them so they don't, because those things add up and they tend to wipe your account because you're so unprepared for them. Fuel is another post. You should know how much you spend on fuel every month so you can plan. I find that if all the small things are added, then the budget is it's closer to what will happen during the month. And right from looking at my spreadsheet, I can imagine in a particular amount what needs to go, what we need to reduce on so that we can do something else. And so that's very important. Now I've been rambling about this spreadsheet for a while, but I hope that you are doing this. And if you're not doing this, please get on board. There should be an association for people with spreadsheet every month. Anyways, you should get on board. It helps. You are less surprised at the end of the month. You are less likely to be red. Those few days before you get paid again, you're less likely to be red. And it's just been a joy to play around with that with that spreadsheet. Now I sound like it's a joy to play around the spreadsheet because I love playing with numbers. I love crunching numbers. So that's something that I wanted to share today. And until I come your way next time, this is Bobby, Unintentional Randomness. Have a very, very lovely week. Bye-bye.